Hello, everybody, and welcome to the rainy day Friday edition of This Week in Schule, This Week in School, for those of you in the United States. As you can tell, I'm in traffic, and it is pretty bad. This is like the third Friday in a row with a lot of rain, so I think there's a conspiracy. I'm working on it. I'll get to the bottom of this. But I wanted to talk about This Week in School, particularly with some of the people that were in class in previous years, because we are reading the Odyssey. And it's an interesting thing to talk about a lot because the Odyssey is, 3,000 years old, 5,000 years old? And it is still the thing that students recognize the most. And this year's group is not that much different, even though the skill set in general, as we get further into the post-2007 introduction of the iPhone age, many of the reactions are still the same because of the basic human conflicts that go on. And it's funny because this year, the thing that got immediate reaction was when Odysseus, in the movie, we'll look at the text on Monday, but in the film, the TV movie from 1996, they land after escaping the Cyclops cave, which was an interesting situation. They're sailing directionlessly for 9 days, and they wound up landing on the island of Aeolus, the god of the wind. So the wind god respects Odysseus quite a bit and gives him a lesson and says, look, Poseidon, who has been messing with you all this time and is keeping you from getting home, he doesn't understand. First of all, he's a bully. Second of all, he doesn't understand that the seas and the waters are nothing without the wind. So he takes the jug that was supposed to be for, like a leather bag that was supposed to be for water, and he puts all the bad wind in the bag. All the wind that would have kept Odysseus and his crew from getting home, puts the wind in the bag and gives it to Odysseus. And Odysseus yells out, "Why are you helping me?" Because remember, Odysseus is used to working by himself. He's used to working as a solo leader with a lot of pride, too much it turns out. And he says, I can do anything by myself. I don't need any gods. I don't need any people. I can do it all alone. So it's confusing to him for various reasons that someone would help him out. And so Aeolus fills the bag with wind, caps it, seals it, and throws the bag with all the bad wind, all the ill winds, throws it at Odysseus and says, okay, these are all the bad winds, so get in the boat and go home. And so what happens is, Odysseus again is surprised. Why are you helping me? And Aeolus says, and this is the lesson that we try to impart upon our younger people. He says that, everybody knows Odysseus and that you used your mind, then you used it with the construction of the Trojan horse and the idea behind it. And you generally use your mind in general to get things done. And everybody knows this, and the fact that you use your mind, Aeolus says, makes me want to do this for you. He respects it. Okay. So he gives him the bag of wind, and then, spoiler alert, although this is the thing, nobody needed a spoiler alert on this one, because he says very clearly, which I emphasized in class, whatever you do, don't open that bag of wind until you're on the ground in Ithaca where you live, until you are home. You'll sail for 9 days, keep the bag, don't open it. Whatever you do, don't open it and you'll be home. Right? So this year in all of the classes, because students understand what that means, but this year there was, for whatever reason, and each year is different, there was someone who's like, oh man, in one class, one of the young girls was like, oh, whoa, right? And I think she was looking at the amount of time, what is it called? The tracker at the bottom, We're in part 1 of part 2. It's 2 YouTube videos. We're in the first one, and we're 3/4 of the way done with video 1. And okay, 9 days and you're home. Yay, we're all done. So I don't think she was looking at that, but what she caught was the whatever you do part of the whole thing. And we all figured out there's always one, and there is always one who just can't let good enough alone and had to open the bag. And this is the short-sightedness of many people we know. Probably to a degree, even us. Even the people who watch this video or open the emails and remember the Odyssey from class. And sure enough, one of the guys, one of the crew, is right away upset because he thought that Odysseus comes back from the island where he went to get water, comes back with a sack that you can't open. Nobody open this bag. We'll open it when we get to Ithaca. And the guy thinks that it's treasure. He thinks that Odysseus has got a bag of gold, and he's like, oh, Odysseus gets gold, and we get what? We get nothing? Like, we should get a share of that. We're the crew. And one loyal guy fights with him, and the other guy's like, I don't really care. I want my share. Whatever. It really shows you the kind of people that are out there in this one scene. And for whatever reason this year, we had that bag of wind, right? And they show the guy, they can't open it, it's sealed. Odysseus, because Odysseus tries to stay awake for 9 days because he knows his crew is filled with short-sighted simpletons, right? Call them whatever you want, right? Today they'd be NPCs, they would be normies, they would be, you know how it is. Like, because I talk about investing in energy a lot. People try to share with me what to invest in. I don't know. Oh, you got to buy Tesla. I saw on CNBC, you got to buy this. And I just, you pick the field. Sports is the same thing. People don't think. They don't look further than 6 inches past their face. And so this is the same kind of thing. And so, the crew is filled with short-sighted, low attention span, instant gratification clods, and they ruin it. They totally ruin it. They see the boat is within sight of Ithaca. As a matter of fact, Odysseus' wife, who's been waiting years for him to come back and been faithful to him, as well as Odysseus' mother, they could see the boat. They're like, hey, look, a ship. By then the bag's been opened and there's wind all over the place. And Odysseus knows he's near land because the birds have shown up, and there's always someone who ruins it. And that's really what we're talking about. That you me, we, us, you really need to pick, who are you reading online? And you can insert your own punchline with that one, right? I'm on this ridiculous Substack page, right? People wonder what I'm thinking. But really, in terms of on social media, online, with things that are important to you, all of it. Like, who are you? Are you listening to the guy that is like, oh, there's treasure in the bag, and I know it, so let's open it, even though I was told not to? By someone with gravitas, somebody with skin in the game, somebody who has a clue, somebody who's smarter than I am. And yeah, there are. I've met some really smart people they're different. I'm well read and I'm 51 years old and I like history and, you know, I sound reasonably bright, but I've been around really bright people. And I don't mess with them necessarily in the sense of questioning what they say or, you know, getting all upset that they're really bright and they're on a different level. That's just how it is. So that's what we talked about. Like, are you know, me talking to students, are you 14-year-old students, all, you know, 70 of them or whatever there are in the 3 classes, who are you chilling with? Who are you hanging around with? Are you hanging out with open up the bag of wind guy who ruins it for everybody and literally tacks on more years to their journey home? Years. Because they get to Circe after that? They have to go to the land of the dead so Odysseus can talk to Tiresias? I mean, this fool added years to the show, to the journey. And it really, a quick aside, and I'll end with this, is, and the reason why I bring up investing in money a lot is because it's one of the things I'm passionate about. But also, you know, I invested a small amount, but I was a crypto token was recommended to me by somebody, and it has cratered. So, you know, I invested, I don't know, I want to say somewhere around $600, $700 maybe at the most. And I've lost 95% of my investment. I just write it off. It's not coming back. It's a crypto token. And it's not coming back. I know people who invested $10,000 in this thing. Yeah. 10K. People, plural. Because someone recommended it. Just that. And not somebody dumb, right? But again, just like, what's their background? What's their level of credibility? Do they have a track record? Like, why do this? And I, you know, luckily my antenna were up, and I'd been in the crypto world for a while there years ago. And, you know, oh, buy more, get more. Then let me start with $600-700. How do I buy it, right? And I bought some. And, you know, this crypto token has gone from $6-7 to 59 cents. Okay? So it's a dumpster fire. I zeroed it out. And it's the same thing, right? What are you listening to? Who are you listening to? Are you listening to Bag of Wind opener clown? Or are you listening to some who you respect and you have a reason to listen? So it's that kind of thing. But, you know, there's always one, right? There's always one in the group. Someone's got to ruin it. And that lesson came through nicely this year so far in the Odyssey. Now, it's different every year. So we'll see. We're only halfway through. Many of you remember this. If I remember, I'll put, when I'm out of the studio, I'll put some links to some of the things that we have been talking about and planning and discussing. And some of you, it'll be a nice walk down memory lane. Okay? All right, that's about it. This week in school, nothing bad, right? All good so far. Take care.